Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Sustainability Committee quarterly meeting. I want to start off with a couple NDEP related topics here while we wait for Chris Lynch to join us and take over the chair and co-chair announcements. And then after that, we're going to hop into our technically now six sustainability projects within this committee. We combined two of the projects into one, and we will get into that later. So first off today, I want to bring up the discussion of the bylaws. So we sent out in the last month's newsletter just a draft bylaws for everyone just to review, provide any comments on. Again, we're really putting these bylaws together. We're receiving a lot of feedback that I would like more of a formal structure to this group. So that way we can start, obtaining funding. We can start putting these proposals together and become really a more solidified community. And so if you guys have any comments, positive, negative changes you would like to see, or if you're happy that there's, are being put into place, please respond to the SurveyMonkey link in there. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we will include that in next month's newsletter coming out early next week. Okay. And again, we may change the name of the bylaws. Really, again, they're just their structure. They're not going to be, law abiding or anything of that sort at this moment. We're just looking at how can we provide some more structure to this group, really to give all the participants a little bit more flexibility to further promote these for projects moving forward. All right, so next up, I'm going to turn over to Bree Case, who's going to talk about a couple of really exciting projects that she has going on in some other committees. So it's over to you, Bree.
Thanks. Kayla, if you don't mind, could I share my screen quick?
Absolutely. You should have access now.
So just to keep you updated what the Education and Outreach Group has been doing, they've been primarily focused on updating the Nevada Recycles website and changing it to the Sustainable Nevada website. And we've gotten through our first phase of updates. We are working on updating the Nevada Recycles logo to the PSN logo with a little tagline that says "Together with Nevada Recycles." So that's still in the works. But the four main boxes here, we have businesses, residents, educators, government, and there's a bunch of resources. So feel free to explore the new Sustainable Nevada website. See what we have up there. And as you guys get, if you guys have any other ideas to add stuff to the website, even if you're not part of that Education and Outreach Group, please feel free to email me or Allie. We're both working on this website update with PSN. So we're really excited about having this new resource available, and it's just a completely, rehaul of the material that's on the website. Let's see. And then the other item I have is the Sustainable Materials Management Plan for the state. We are doing a second round of comments. So the first round went out to health districts, counties, municipalities to get their, first round of feedback. And also the PSN had a small project group within the policy committee, and they provided feedback. But now we're opening it up to all of PSN members to provide comments or even ask questions. If you, that was sent out last week. So if you want to review it, you can email me your comments if you have any. And we're also on Friday going to hold a workshop where I'll spend a portion of that workshop, going over the plan. So even if you haven't read it, I'm going to give a brief overview of the plan, and then we'll have about an hour for discussion and comments and questions. And I'll put a link after I'm done talking to register for that workshop. If you haven't registered for it yet, but you want to, highly recommend it. Would love to get PSN's feedback on that plan.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bree. All right, so I see that Chris has signed in here. Chris, we just kind of went through the couple NDEP topics, talking about the bylaws, the new Sustainable Nevada website, and the Sustainable Materials Management Plan. I'll go ahead and turn it over to you now if you're ready, if you have any chair, co-chair announcements from either yourself or Noah, and then we can go ahead and hop into the project team updates.
All right, well, thank you for covering that while I was getting on. So yeah, I guess just in terms of overall project chair updates, we're just excited to keep everything moving forward. So, I was on the policy and funding call yesterday. Looks like there are a couple of initiatives that are moving along, and so just kind of wanted to use this opportunity to have the different project areas report on where they're at, so that we can also be thinking about if there are things that we need to kind of move up to the policy and funding committee to help with moving forward. So with that, I guess maybe we could just move into the discussion about the different projects. And so I'm pulling up my list of different project leads, but maybe we can have project one. The lead is Lakshmi. Is Lakshmi on? I don't know that Lakshmi's on, right? Is she away in India? Is that what came up yesterday? All right. Is there anybody else from Project One, which is just a quick reminder? So Project One is the one decrease the amount of single-use plastics by designing public events outreach for large events. Is there anybody else on the call who can report on the progress of that project?
Yeah, Chris, this is Bree. So with that project, they're working on trying to find if there's any events out there that could be potential a pilot partnership project with an event to help them reduce single-use plastics and single-use items at the event. So that team was gathering, smaller, on the smaller size for events because it's their first one. It's a pilot project, but we got some good ideas. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head which events they were, but I think they were more Northern Nevada. But yeah, that's what that group's doing.
Okay, great. Thanks, Bree. I appreciate the update. Project number 2 is create a hub and spoke plan and identify next steps. And I think I saw that Patty's on the call. Patty Moen?
Yep. So we have been working on this for a while, and the latest update is that instead of collecting materials source separated at a hub, we want to try a pilot where we would collect them single stream and compact them. And so we're looking at somewhere along the 95 corridor for our first project, Tonopah or Hawthorne, or even Pahrump. So I sent out an email to CNS Waste to see what they think about Pahrump, since they are actually collecting material already there. And so we're trying to establish a partnership with the Recycling Partnership, and which has funding to help with the pilot project. So that's kind of where that's coming out of. And Republic is interested. Republic Services in out of Clark County. They're interested in the material. So we've made a little bit of progress. So I have a meeting set up next week with the folks in Nye County to talk to them about, possibly being the first hub with that project. So it's getting there.
Okay, great. So Nye County would be the hub or the spoke?
Well, they would be a hub.
A
So
hub,
like
okay.
Tonopah, not all of Nye County, but maybe one community. Like we're looking either at Tonopah or maybe going up to Hawthorne. So whoever is interested and wants to try it out, what we did make a map of possible hubs and spokes communities for the state. So if anybody wants to see that, I could send that out. We've been working on that for a while, and they're all theoretical hubs at this point, but it's a really cool map, and kind of shows how it could work someday if we can get some momentum going. Hopefully, we can get something on the ground.
Okay, That would be great. And I noted yesterday on the policy and funding call that Tina Mudd talked about possible funding through the bipartisan infrastructure law. So is that something that the policy and funding committee is watching for you in the hub and spoke process? Or I guess I'm just curious how that's working.
Kayla, do you want to answer that one?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think everybody's looking out for it, really,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. So yeah, Chris, we're looking for, anytime that we have funding opportunities available. Tina even made a call out for all of her projects to say, hey, what's a half page, project proposal? So that way, when we do finally get information about what projects are eligible and what's not, kind of how we can apply funding, that we'll be ready to go. As ready as we can be with a little notice. But at least it's
Right.
getting a little half page, just simple asks. So this is something, as we start seeing funding, if Hub and Spoke is a viable option, we'll be pushing it out to this group. So if, they would like to submit a proposal, that's up their alley.
Great. All right, thank you, Patty. How about project 3? That's the collaborate with the 2020 climate action plan for Nevada. Coordinating with that staff and supporting the effort. Is Rebecca on the call?
I don't believe she is. However, I can provide an update. And then, yeah, Brian, I see Brian's on the call. He's been very active in that group as well. So feel free to add on any information that you would like. So we had a presentation from Kristen Stasio with the Nevada Clean Energy Fund, giving us kind of an overview of the programs that they have available to residents and businesses through their funds. We also had scheduled a presentation with our NDEP Bureau of Air Quality Planning. Unfortunately, he got sick and would like to reschedule, but talking about their what they're doing with their climate, we call it, 'cause I'm not familiar as much as I should be, with the calculations, how they're calculating out the greenhouse gas inventory and collaborating with the climate action plan. And then additionally, we're going to be reaching out to the climate change office to see how we can better partner with them as well.
That covered it really well, I think. Thanks, Kayla. We don't really have a leader for that group right now either, do we? Or...
Not quite. Yeah, Rebecca's been we'll hit or miss the last little bit. So I've just been kind of helping move this group along, trying to see what it's going to grow into. We're going to see kind of which direction we might take this, or how will it change. So we are still looking for a more permanent leader for this group as well. But yeah, for now, I'm happy to help just facilitate, get the meetings through, and help everyone along.
Great. Thanks.
All right. Thanks. And then, so project 4 is engage experts from industry, government, and academia to discuss developments and innovations in CE thinking, opportunities and challenges, and essential circular economy strategies. Is Astor on the call? I don't see her.
No, but I can give an update on that group.
All right, thanks, Bree.
Yeah, so they've had a few different presentations on the circular economy, what that is, because it's a beast in itself, because that involves multiple aspects like the built environment, sustainable materials management, ensuring ecosystems are good to go. So we're just trying to wrap our head around like defining it, what it all encompasses, who the stakeholders are, trying to identify what areas or what industries we need to reach out to. And I believe that her end goal for the group is to have a little report put together that we can use moving forward to help engage these stakeholders. But yeah, interesting work on figuring out what the circular economy is and how it's applicable to Nevada.
Okay, great. And so those have been outside speakers who can talk about circular economy and kind of help the group along. Is that, am I understanding it right?
Yeah, some of them, it's been Aster. She's very well versed in this, so she's been sharing a lot of the material she's done research on over the years. I have missed a few meetings, but I think some other people have come and spoke as well. But yeah, and we've opened it up to the last meeting. We were looking for other speakers too. So we're, like it said, we're looking for industry experts to bring their point of view to the table.
All right. Thank you very much. Our fifth project is the one on establishing reliable organic material data collection methods. And Kayla, I see you're the lead, so would you mind going again?
Absolutely. I'll say Allie was popular today. Or yesterday. I'm popular today. All right. So here's what I was alluding. So we combined project 5, which is the organic material collection methods, and then 6, which is the addressing data knowledge gaps by conducting a waste audit. So you combine those really into one group just to talk about data collection. So what we've been doing, so it's kind of what we've been doing internal at NDEP is we have moved away from Retrack Connect to calculate our recycling rate information. And now we're building an internal database system to track our solid waste and recycling information. So, and in part of that, when we get to really getting to that organic side, how can we develop that into something that's going to be meaningful, a little bit more straightforward? And then the second component of that is I will be honest, we built in a budget to try and perform a statewide waste characterization study. Just because we built it in doesn't mean it will or will not be approved by the next legislative session coming up here shortly. But we're seeing really how can we start collecting this data. We're also looking at other potential grant opportunities. EPA's keeps saying that they're going to put out either there's a solid waste grant and then also recycling grant coming out sometime by the end of this year. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on that information to see if that's something we can apply for as well to really start getting valuable and meaningful data for the entire state. So we merged project 5 and 6 is to really encompass data as a whole.
Okay, great. Thanks for the update for the 2 project areas. I guess I should have been asking all along. And everybody feel free to jump in. Does anybody have any questions on any of the project areas or anything that's been presented so far? All right, well, hearing none, we'll go to project 7. That's mine. It's recommending a state of Nevada sustainability plan, and I've been a little slow on some of what we need to do on that group, but we've had an initial conversation, and we're just kind of trying to frame what the interest is in terms of how we move this forward, whether it needs to be something as official or as like a legislative proposal that that the state have a requirement by statute to do a sustainability plan, or something a little bit less formal, and taking a look at what already exists within the state, and then also taking a look at maybe some other states and what they've done in terms of any type of state level sustainability planning. But yeah, we need to get moving a little bit further with that group. So, and I take responsibility on that one. So that's my update with project 7. I guess if there are any questions, feel free to ask right now. Otherwise, I guess I would put it out there in terms of all of the projects. Are you getting all of the resources that you need in terms of being able to push the projects forward? Is there is there anything that you need resource wise, speaker wise? Is there anything that we can assist with, whether it's Kayla or Bree or myself and Noah as the committee chairs? Is there anything that we can be bringing to help you move forward with the projects that you're participating on? Any general comments?
Hey Chris, this is Allie with NDEP. I just have one quick little announcement. You probably heard if you were on the policy change and funding meeting yesterday, but we did find a chair for our education and outreach group. His name is Steve Orico. He works for Republic Services. He is his title is community relations. So he will be on that call tomorrow. If any of you have time, please sign on. It's at 2 o'clock. If you want that link, Bree, myself, or Kayla can get that to you if you don't have it already. So come join us, come meet him. He's really great. He's got a positive attitude. I think he's going to do a lot. He's going to have a lot to contribute to PSN. So if you guys want to meet him, sign on up and see us at 2 tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Allie. Yeah, I encourage everybody, when these other committees have their full meetings, it's a good opportunity, even if you're not participating in any of the project committees or project working groups. It's just a good opportunity to hear the full update. I definitely appreciate getting the monthly newsletter because it kind of gives a nice high level summary of what's going on. But these quarterly meetings, it's just once a quarter, and there's only the two other groups besides our own. It's the education committee and then the policy and funding committee. But you can sit in and hear all of the different project updates. So it's a good opportunity just to stay kind of engaged with what the other committees are working on, but also see where there might be opportunities for us to plug in some of what we're working on with what they are working on. So just encourage you, if you do have the opportunity to participate on those other calls, to go ahead. Jennifer, I see you raised your hand.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to show my ignorance here. I do try to attend the meetings, but I do miss occasionally. So do each of these subgroups have any kind of budget for moving things forward? Or is that something that just as needed basis funding might be found?
Correct. It's mostly as needed. It's something where if we can find grants where we can apply to, that's kind of getting back to the bylaws or structure. It's really our intent. Eventually one day for this group to be its own. Is it a nonprofit, or who knows what it'll be? Just a standalone from NDEP. So that way they can start applying for their own budgets. They can start bringing in money and then providing actual funding for these groups. But right now we're just working on, like a good example is the group that Patty's working on with the Hub and Spoke. We are able to identify a grant where that's a possible application. Let's go ahead and get support for that. So I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. I think external funding is a great idea. And does somebody in your organization kind of try to keep an eye out for those opportunities, or is that something that we should all kind of pencil in on our own calendars to start doing?
Certainly both. Yeah, just that, of course, the more eyes looking out, the better. And then, like Tina made a call out yesterday saying for all these projects of give us a half page of your ask, your proposal. So that way when Tina's back in DC and she's aware of, a new funding opportunity, she can now go back and contact that group and say, hey, we're ready to go. Let's get moving.
Yeah, I love that idea. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and I would echo that it's a little bit of both. And I think, as we all work on these different project areas, if we identify, gee, there's X funding need to be able to really move this forward, let's make sure that information is shared back to the larger group so that, everybody can be on the lookout for that kind of funding opportunity.
Yeah, sometimes the project really needs to come before the funding request, doesn't it? Otherwise, you get distracted by all the cool little opportunities that are out there and forget what you're trying to aim for. So,
right. All right. Is there anything else that anybody in the group wants to bring up, or Kayla or Bree, anything else from the NDEP perspective? And what should everybody have on their horizon, on their calendars for the next PSN activities? Obviously, if you're on one of the project working groups, keep an eye out for anything from the working group lead that might be an announcement of an upcoming meeting. But anything else that folks should be on the lookout for?
Certainly. So let's kind of give you guys just a little teaser. Probably in the next couple of weeks, going to be evaluating, what projects are still moving along. We have a couple in the policy, 2 projects came to a halt for one reason or another. And so we're going to be ready to bring on new projects from the menu of options. And so if there's something over there that's of interest, start mulling around in your mind of, what might this look like? So I'll start making a call of what new projects want to be started. So I would say keep that out. So it's coming on the end of 2022. We're getting ready to start 2023 with a lot of excitement and support.
All right. And is there anything that you, Bree or Kayla, or the policy and funding group needs input on from, some of these other committees like ours?
I would say definitely just Bree's working on the sustainable materials management plan. That's probably the most pressing item at this moment, because Bree will be taking that to the State Environmental Commission in December, I believe. So we're doing a lot of outreach right now. Any comments that you guys have on that document? This is a mandated report that we have to update every 5 years. And this year was a huge transition from just end of life waste management to sustainability. So I really encourage you guys to take over a look at that document. This is going to be it's not a statewide sustainability plan, but it's looking at the management of waste in a sustainable fashion. So we'll be giving out more updates since this is going to the State Environmental Commission.
And I know
Okay.
some people popped on after I made my little announcement about this, but I sent out an email last week with a link to the draft, as well as a link to sign up for the workshop that's this Friday at 9. So again, highly recommend attending if you can. Even if you haven't read the plan yet, I'll give a summary. And if you need any of those links, or if you lost the link to the draft, just email me and I'll get that to you as well.
All right, thanks. And this again, just to clarify, this is what's kind of replacing what was formerly known as the solid waste management plan. Yep.
So to answer Laura's chat question about when we'll be submitting this document, Bree, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we submitted to the SEC around Thanksgiving or the first week of December.
Yeah.
So it's still in draft form, but it's been put out in several different facets. So yeah, I believe you're looking for submitting this to the SEC, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. And for everyone else, so we have enough time to look over people's comments. We're asking for any written comments by October 21st, end of day. That'll give me and the project team enough time to look at the comments, see if we need to make any changes to the plan, and then we can submit it at the end of November to the SEC.
All right, well, thank you. And yeah, I encourage everybody to look that over and submit comments if you see areas that you think should be changed or improved, or just to let the folks at NDEP know when they're going in the right direction too, and confirm their direction. So I guess Jennifer, did we get all of your questions? I know your hand was up for a little while there. Just want to make sure we got all of your questions. All
Looks
right.
like Jennifer's frozen, but she did put
Yeah.
in the chat. Oh wait, no, that's from Laura. Sorry, now I'm getting confused. So Laura, Bree sent out the draft SMM plan in one of the past newsletters, I believe, but we will be resubmitting it out to everyone next week, and it also went out to all of our listservs within our bureau. So it will be coming out next week. I see Bree also is putting the link in the chat here.
All right. And I see there was a question about projects 5 and 6 from Liz.
I will go ahead. Let's see here. Third Tuesday at 10. I'll probably keep that. Yeah, same third Tuesday at 10 for both projects 5 and 6. I will combine those right after this meeting concludes.
Thanks.
All right. Is there anything that folks want to add before we sign off? Hearing nothing new. Thanks everybody for getting on the call, and we'll have our next call January. Is that right? January every 3 months, quarterly. So next call will be January, but between now and then, just encourage you to participate on the project groups that you're on. And, in January, it'll be a good time probably to do this again, and also, just participate in the other committee meetings, just to hear kind of where everything's at from 2022 and the progress, and kind of what might be expected to occur in the legislative session that will start in quickly after that. So and I think that'll be a good opportunity for us to also kind of get feedback and hear from the other projects and the other committees in terms of what kind of support might be needed for anything that might be going before the legislature. So thanks everybody for getting on the call today. Thanks for participating in the projects, and keep doing the good work, and look forward to talking with you again soon.
Thank you, Chris. Bye.
All right.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.